Titan emerged out of the chaos. As it grew, so too did the might of the Olympians. Now Kratos seeks to destroy all that I have wrought. We will stand together and wipe out this plague!
Welcome back to your Geek News, and now we're taking a look at God of War 3.
Now, God of War 2 ended with Kratos marching on Olympus, with an army of Titans on his side, riding on the back of Gaia herself.
Needless to say, it was a cliffhanger. Ba-doom-ching!
God of War 3 picks up exactly where 2 left off.
And the war on the Olympians is hot and heavy.
This is an epic scale of combat, like nothing we've ever seen.
Apparently, this is the end of the trilogy for Kratos, and so we were expecting some heavy storyline after how strong the first 2 were. And we definitely got it.
But it's a bit of an uneven story. First you take on Zeus's brother Poseidon, and then his other brother Hades.
2 out of the 3 of the big brothers on Olympus dead in the first 2 hours of gameplay. Seriously?
The Poseidon fight might actually be the absolute best boss of them all. His 2 forms give you a great sense of scale, and getting to humble him in human form was awesome.
The beating Kratos lays down is titanic and bloody vicious. I loved it.
And I honestly thought the game was 2/3 over when Hades took it down, because the little gods then start popping up, and it's Helios and Hermes and demigods like Hercules show up, and they're major bosses all of a sudden. It peaked early for me.
I just about lost it when Hercules shows up with the voice of Kevin Sorbo. Great job casting him.
It somehow made it a little extra fun pounding the moxie out of him. Thanks to that, you know.
Malcolm McDowell shows up as the voice of Daedalus, and Rip Torn has the biggest role as the voice of Hephaestus.
Now, with T.C. Carson back as the voice of Kratos, we really had a great time enjoying the story and the characters, all of that in Part 3.
But what really brought the game up for us was the over-the-top wicked graphics.
I will tolerate your insolence no more! I will have my revenge!
Let me start by saying this is very likely the absolute best game I have ever seen.
Easily. The characters and bosses have incredible design, and the attention to detail in the level design is just mind-blowing.
Now, there's some wicked, twisted graphics in this. The blood and gore is at its best, and Kratos is like nonchalantly doing things like using Helios' head as a flashlight or gouging out Poseidon's eyes. Just dirty.
Well, the nudity in it was half hilarious and half kinky, like meeting up with Aphrodite for a sex minigame.
Which, for some reason, I just couldn't get past.
Luckily, I was pretty good with the O button.
It's called the circle button.
Not that time, it's not.
Which brings us to...
You can no longer hide!
From walking to dodging to flying, swimming, gliding, climbing, even hitching a ride on harpies, none of it feels out of place. The gameplay is a lot like the first 2 in the series.
You know, I'd say it's even slicker because the weapon switching can be done on the fly. So you can take on a Cyclops with the Nemean gauntlets and then behead a Gorgon with the claws of Hades without skipping a beat.
And along the way, the new item acquisition is quite easy. With the casual training style, you never feel like you're in a tutorial.
And as expected, this installment has some great logic and problem solving, but there's this one music minigame that is just awful.
It was like Dance Dance Revolution for your right thumb. Nasty.
Now, the save engine is pretty good, but you're always hoping that you've hit one of those unseen checkpoints, since you never know you've hit them until you die. Not that I ever die.
Oh, no, of course not. The different bosses definitely make you feel like you're watching a movie, with great interactive finishing moves.
But when you get to Zeus, it does feel kind of like it drags a bit. It's like a never-ending level of Mortal Kombat. It could have used a few more forms of Zeus, because you just keep on having to fight him.
And without ruining the ending, you get to go on a great existential and artistic journey that evokes fond memories of the first 2 games.
Now, God of War 3 is by no means a long game. But just like the first 2, depending on how you play it, number 3 is still probably the longest in the series.
But if you're good, and you're trying to, you should be able to kill it in under 10 hours flat.
If only Sam Worthington was so lucky.
Speaking of Perseus, if you missed our Clash of the Titans behind-the-scenes look, you can catch it on yourgeeknews.com.
But hang on tight, because we've got our review of Clash of the Titans coming up next.
My vengeance ends now.